All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Happy New Year! You made it to another episode of We Did That Shit podcast, where we talk about who did some shit, how we got through some shit, and what we learned from shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Bibbi. Hey, podcast family. We appreciate your support, and we hope your week was the shit. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you like what you hear, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can also follow us on all social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Hey, Maya.
Hey.
What's going on, boo?
Not much. New year, new me. 2019.
Say that again. New year, new me.
Mm-hmm.
I am so serious about it. Like, people that know me, I'm like, you don't even know me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so new. I don't even know me. What? Serious.
I'm so new. I don't even know me. I know that's right. Mm-hmm. 2019.
Already. Can you imagine?
No, because I thought it was just 1980. And now it's 2019. That's how fast the time goes.
How was your week?
My week was pretty good. I mean, it was the new year.
How'd you bring in the new year?
I was here in my bed watching Lockup, I think. Or I might have been watching Narcos. I was watching something that had to do with some illegal activity.
That's criminal enterprise.
I don't know what is wrong with me. I'm always fascinated in looking at something that's criminal.
Criminal, yes.
I don't know what that's about. Maybe in my former life, I was a damn criminal. I don't know. But New Year's was good. You know, I didn't do much. My friends went out. They went to a party. I was thinking about going with them, but I decided not to at the last minute. I just didn't feel like being around a bunch of people, being in a crowd. You know, it was kind of far out, driving with people drunk. Mm-hmm. I just didn't feel like all that. So I brought it in. 12 o'clock, called my mother, FaceTime with her for a minute. Love you too. And then I went to bed. I mean, I had some cocktails, cooked the dinner, and that was that. That was how my week was. And then we had to go back to work. And I just like to announce here on the podcast, since it's the new year. And if you have been listening to We Did That Shit podcast for the time that we've been out, which has been a year, you will know my journey to be at work on time.
No, Maya. No, when you say you are late for work, I'm just saying regular people would just think, oh, you're late for work. You're always like 10, 15 minutes late for work.
No, I'll be late.
It's like late as hell.
And walk up in there with like stuff in my hand, like Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. Just like, good morning. Like, do you know that it's 10:15 and you're supposed to be at 9? I don't usually make New Year's resolutions because I don't stick to them, and I'm just real with myself, you know. But I said the one New Year's resolution that I was making, no matter what, was I was going to be at work on time.
Okay.
And the thing is it's not even that I'm getting chastised or I'm getting in trouble for not being at work on time.
Clearly, because you do it every day.
Yeah, but it was getting out of hand. And I recognized that, like, this is too much. When I strolled in there at 10:30, I said, oh, okay, all right, now you're taking it too far. Now you're abusing what you got going on. So 2019 started off. I was at work on time.
You were?
9 o'clock.
Oh, go ahead, girl.
And I have kept it up all week, and I plan on keeping it up from here on out. So that's how my week was. How about you? How was your week?
Jiggy went out with me for New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought
Happy New Year. That was a big deal.
Yeah, and he and we went to a coworker's house somewhere he had never been, someone he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a big deal that he still agreed to go. And And then we left at like maybe 20 minutes to 12. She didn't live too far from my dad. So I just brought the new year in with my dad. Because this time last year he was in the hospital. So we just real grateful. Everything's good now. And didn't want to stay out too late because I'm just always nervous of the people around me. New Year's is just a really big drinking holiday and people just do dumb stuff. So I just wanted to get home soon. And unfortunately, on my way home, I did see a fatal accident. And I saw the girl. I knew it was a girl because of the way her jeans,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why is this cop just standing in the middle of the street and all the cars are in the shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked down and I saw it was a body laying there. This is before the emergency vehicles came to cover her up or anything. I just said a little prayer because what else can you do?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm going to find a new tradition for New Year's Eve. Something like I want to do that. I like traditions.
Well, let's make a tradition to have a party at your house.
Well, the last time we had a New Year's Eve party, we had a good time.
We did. That's what I'm saying. Let's bring it on back, and have a little something at your house because y'all act like you can't half-ass go out of the city so you can come to my house.
The only thing about I will come to your house. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing is usually the day after holidays, I have to go back to work. So that means I'll have to, I can't get drunk on New Year's Eve and be like, sleep all day New Year's and then get back to work. That ain't gonna work.
Half-ass acting like a prude on Christmas. Like, oh, no, I don't want anything to drink because I have to go to work tomorrow. Like, are you kidding?
Right. Well, I have to work.
Just because you had to go to work don't mean you couldn't have had a drink, for one. And for two, we went to the store together to buy the alcohol. Like when we was buying alcohol, you ain't say, I got to work the next day, so I probably ain't going to drink tomorrow.
I got it here for the
That's
weekend.
how black folks do you.
I'm just saying. I think my patients will be happy to know that I'm not slushing it up on the holidays.
You don't have to be slushing it up, but like you could have had a Christmas drink. Come on.
I think I had something on Christmas.
You didn't have anything.
Oh my goodness! Now she's clocking my alcohol.
I am.
Well, I still have some.
Okay.
Anywho, who did some shit this week?
Well, it's the new year. And, a bunch of stuff is always going on in this crazy world that we live in. I wanted to talk about the little baby who was murdered in Houston, Texas, the 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes. She was killed by a drive-by shooting. Well, It was a man who came up in a red pickup truck on the side of, yeah, that's what it was. It was a hate crime. He came up in he was in a red pickup truck. He came up on the side of her mother's car and just started firing in the car. The mother, her name is LaPortia Washington. She threw herself over her daughter's body in the front seat, her oldest child. She was screaming, "Get down, get down." And when the truck sped away, and then they came up from it, her child was murdered in the back. Like I said, 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes. This story just really broke my heart. It had me crying and everything because, they interviewed the mother. She's still in the hospital. And
right, because she was shot, right? Just not.
Right. She just wasn't shot.
Yeah.
She wasn't
life-threatening. Right.
Right. And so she's still in the hospital and they were interviewing her. And all she kept saying was, I just think every day, what did I do wrong? Did I cut this man off in traffic? Mm-hmm. Did I not signal? Did I push, do something while because they were coming out of a Walmart. She said, did I do something when we were coming out of the Walmart? Like she just is wanting to know what she could have done to provoke this man for shooting in her car. Mm-hmm. And she says, it was nothing. It was nothing that she did. And it's just so sad because she's blaming herself, really kind of just questioning what she did or what she did not do to protect her baby. It's sad that we live in a time where things like this are happening, unprovoked, coming up on a side of a car and shooting in it. And in turn, killed a baby. They still haven't found the guy who shot in the car.
The shooter, right.
Right. They still haven't found him. And I'm like, you could find people for the dumbest shit, but you haven't found this man yet?
Right. And they ain't really looking for him. That's a shame.
Yes, and that's what it boils down to. Because if it was not for social media and for the attention that social media brought to this story, it wasn't even a national story at first. But of course, once social media gets a hold of it and then they start to make it more quote unquote popular, then
Hmm.
now the national news is getting a hold of it. And I just hope that they find this man, they prosecute him to the highest extent, and we just
Me
want to give
too.
condolences to the family of Jasmine Barnes.
On that, along those lines, it's another thing happening nationally, but it's not in the news
Mhm.
like it should be, and it's not even on social media the way it should be, is the mistreatment. We've had so far two of these immigrant children have died in custody.
Mhm.
First of all, these children, most of them, they're not criminals. Now they're
Right.
criminalizing these small children, separating them from their parents,
Mhm.
holding them in these institutions that are like jails, treating them like prisoners. And these detention centers are privately owned,
Mhm.
making all this money from the government. Now, two of them in Arizona have been shut down for the mistreatment because now, allegedly, they're looking into more abuses. There's been video of one of the workers there because they're not corrections officers, they're not inmates, but they're
Right.
kicked the little boy across the floor and they have them in cells and pods like jails.
Mm. Mhm.
And so they're starting to look into the abuse. And like I said, two children have died in custody from things that were not life threatening or should not
Right.
have been life threatening. They're denying them medical care and all kinds of things like that. And it's a sad state of affairs. People just do not value life. And this government supports such behavior. That's
Mhm.
why they haven't found that man in the red truck.
Yeah. Exactly.
Our government supports this type of behavior.
Exactly. Well, our president is out spewing hate speech on a regular basis. And when
Mm.
it comes down to the immigrants, when it comes down to Black families, and so these are the results of it. And so they have these children, and they're separating them from their parents. So they have the children in one place, and then they have the parents in another place.
Right.
And like you
And
said,
what's
you're
the point of that?
criminalizing kids like
Right.
they could make a decision
Exactly.
to they didn't make the decision to
Exactly.
bring themselves here. Their families made the decision to bring themselves here, whether
Right.
it's
Because they're not
legal or illegal
teenagers. These are
or
little
whatever. Little
kids.
children
Exactly.
that
Hmm.
you are holding, like you said, like they're in jail, and they're not.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It is terrible, but sadly, it'll continue. When you have a person talking about building a wall, keeping people out, whatever the case is, it will continue. And that's the sad thing. I'm surprised that the places was closed down in Arizona, like you said. I'm
Yeah, they
surprised that
closed
that
down
even happened.
too. Yeah.
Well, they were the sacrificial. No, it was like how it's always
Yeah. They try to act like
crime
they
going
doing
on.
something.
Yeah,
Right.
crime going on in the hood. They catch
Hmm.
one person, they lay the drugs and the guns out on the table, like, look, we're making a difference when it
Right.
really is no difference made. So they were the sacrificial places that closed so it could say, oh, we're looking into abuse, when in reality, you're not.
What
You know,
else is going on?
what else is going on? Did you see the video that happened in the McDonald's in
Did
St.
I?
Petersburg, Florida, when a 40-year-old man attacked a worker at McDonald's? She was 20 years old.
He
So,
First of all, she was a female.
exactly.
She was a female, and he snatched her up by the but she gave him a two piece, didn't she? She
Listen,
beat the shit out of.
one thing's for certain and two things for sure. He will think twice before he ever attacks
Yes,
anyone again.
that's right.
Because the fact that you thought that you were privileged enough, so it started out is that
Yes.
he asked for a straw.
Hmm.
McDonald's has made I don't know if it's McDonald's across the board, like in all cities and states, but in this particular McDonald's, they made a rule that they can't have straws in the lobby.
Okay.
And like I said, it may be a across the board thing for
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's, but specifically in this place. So you have to ask for a straw. Now, I didn't look into the backstory on why they took straws out the lobby, but they
Mm-hmm.
obviously have their reasons for doing it. He asked for a straw. It probably was that the girl wasn't moving fast enough, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe she wasn't paying him any attention. It could have been anything. But when a person thinks that they have every right to do something and they feel
Exactly.
like it's their privilege and you should be, especially how they treat people who work in the fast food
Exactly.
industry, like they're less than. No, they're not less than. You could be working at a fast food place too. And every job is an important job. You got to eat.
Or else you
You need
wouldn't have
somebody.
it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You got to eat. You
Exactly.
need somebody to serve you the food. So
Exactly.
he asked her for the straw. Whatever ensued after that, he physically grabbed this girl
Yes.
by her shirt, like to
Yes.
to pull her, to chastise her, like,
Mm-hmm.
how dare you make me wait? And in return, she beat his ass.
She sure did.
She beat his ass. I mean, she mollywopped the floor with him.
She's
I mean, excuse my language, she fucked him up.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did. They said that she was a former boxer.
Oh well, got the right one.
And she told him after she beat him up, she
Mm-hmm.
told him, I'm about it. Like, I'm about it. You came
Right.
to the wrong McDonald's with the wrong woman and on the wrong day, and did the wrong thing. And these are what you get. But what pissed me off the most about that video was not even that the man grabbed her. What pissed me off the most about that damn video was that the men,
Stood there and didn't do a thing. Come on now.
they
Come
were trying to break
on.
up the fight. So you were trying to grab her from stopping her from whipping his ass instead of grabbing him or helping her
Right.
whip his ass.
Right. Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
now here's the thing. You walking down the street, you see a man and a woman fighting, they together. She like, you shouldn't have cheated on me, blah, blah, blah. He like, yeah, whatever. Then he punch her in her face. And you don't want to get involved in that. I can kind of understand.
A
Just
lot of people have
because
been killed getting involved with
it's
domestic.
domestic, you
Yes.
turn around, you might turn
Mhm.
on me if I'm trying to help you.
Right. And then
Yeah.
next week y'all together.
But
Right.
this wasn't a domestic situation.
At all.
You were at work. You are a man. I don't care how much of a punk you are. I don't
Right.
care how scared you are. You pick up something and you bust his ass like she was busting his ass.
Right.
As man,
As a man.
I just
As a man.
don't have men like that around me. I don't want to work nowhere. If I'm riding out, we in McDonald's together. We all we got. That's how I
Right.
feel. We
Right.
all we got at McDonald's. If you see
Right.
somebody physically assault me and you see me whipping his ass, don't pull me off of him. He wanted his
Right.
ass whipped.
Exactly.
That's what he wanted.
Exactly.
I just looked at that situation like, what is going on out here in the damn McDonald's? And then you don't even want to give these people, you don't want to pay them what they worth. If they got to deal with stuff like that, give them the 15.
Well,
I mean,
that's true too, but
I didn't see plenty of videos on social media here lately with people getting attacked at Burger King,
right,
at
right.
Popeyes, at McDonald's, and then they got to defend themselves. And you want to give me $7? I'm just saying.
I mean,
15 at least. If I gotta be up in here showcasing my former boxing skills, give me the 15. I'm just saying.
well, you know how I feel about the whole minimum wage at $15. I have a license. If you want to raise minimum wage to $15, you definitely won't raise my pay. Sorry.
Well, they can raise your pay.
I
But
gotta
like I said,
raise my pay first.
I was a former boxer. I'm
And
out.
then,
Like,
well,
if I'm showcasing my skills.
right.
Give me 15.
Then be
That's what I'm
secure. Pay me to be security then, because
Uh-oh.
$15 an hour is a lot for minimum wage. I'm just saying.
It's not a lot for minimum wage when people live in poverty and they trying to do the right thing and they trying to take care of themselves or take care of their children and stuff like that. And they don't have an opportunity to do something else. So they do what they need to do, which is working at McDonald's. And all you trying to do is the right thing. You ain't out here doing something illegal. You're not trying to rob people. You're not trying to sell drugs. You're not trying to do none of that. And you are, like I said, trying to make a living. It's not really that much.
Well, $15 is a lot for a person. So they say that education is the way out of poverty, right? So
Okay.
if you have two people and you working the same job, right? And just say they both work at McDonald's and one has a high school diploma and the other one doesn't. Why do I need a high school diploma if we both gonna make the 15? If I got a degree, and there's people with college degrees who have to work at McDonald's. So
Exactly.
if you want to compensate for a degree, if you're going to pay $15 an hour because they have a degree, even though it's not a lot of money, it's more than the minimum wage, then you do that. But somebody who didn't finish high school or just finished high school, first of all, those fast food jobs is for our young people to teach them responsibility, how to handle their little bit of money, how to be on time for work, teach them some skills and stuff like that. It's not for people that be having 4 or 5 kids and they didn't do nothing and now they got to go to work because they can't get welfare or whatever. It's not. McDonald's is not a job.
Go ahead.
But McDonald's is not a job to raise a family of 4 on. It's just not.
McDonald's is a job. I don't care if it's to raise a family of 15 and you don't got no family and you could have no kids. McDonald's is a job. It's an honest living.
I think it is an honest living. And I'm not talking about McDonald's particularly. I'm talking about raising the minimum wage.
Yeah, I think that they should raise the minimum wage. Now, whether they raise it to $15 is another story. But I definitely think that they should raise the minimum wage. How much is minimum wage? $8?
Well, they just went up to $8.85 in New Jersey.
Okay, so $8.85. Okay, so $8.85. $8.85 is not enough for you to live on, let alone for you to have a child or anything like that. I just think that they should raise
but if I want to have a child,
I think that they should raise. Job. Yeah, well, people have children all the time. You could have a child for a number of reasons, Bibbi. It ain't got nothing to do with just because you out here and you might just be screwing and you get pregnant. And people have kids for all kinds of reasons. You have kids for all kinds of reasons. You could fall on hard times and then you could go.
That's true. You can fall on, and
even if you don't fall on hard times, $8.85 is not enough for a person to live. I don't have kids. If I had to work a minimum wage job, $8.85 is not enough for me to live. And that ain't got nothing to do with trying to live a certain lifestyle. It just has to do with living, period. Well, I mean, we're not going to agree on that, but that's
no,
cool.
I don't. Because, but enough. But who's? It is enough to live. You get some roommates, to get a rooming house, you be all right. Hey.
No, it's not enough to live. I'm sorry. You can't preach to people. That's like telling the people on welfare, you need to get off of welfare. You need to go out and you get a job. And then I go out and I get a job and you penalize me for getting a job, even though you told me to get a job. If I'm on welfare or anything like that, then I go get a job at McDonald's. McDonald's is not enough to raise your damn family on.
Neither is welfare.
No. I'm not saying welfare is enough. What I'm just saying is that you tell people, I used welfare as an example because you tell people to make an honest living. They go out and they make a damn honest living and they still can't support themselves. So they should make it more than $8.85. Now and again, and whether it be $15 or not, it should definitely be more than some damn $8.85. But anyway, who else did some shit?
Well,
you can
agree.
Your eyes. I don't agree. Your eyes all you want. You don't gotta agree. It's our first disagreement of 2019, and that's cool. We could talk more about it.
We can, but no, I wanted to get in. Did you hear about Tiffany Haddish's New Year's Eve performance?
Yeah, Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany, you bombed, girl.
And you know what? Shit happens. Like, you bombed. Okay.
It happens to every good comedian. It really happens to every good creative. At the end of the day, it does. I mean, it's kind of like a comedian's rite of passage. You hear them talking about it all the time.
Right. And I think, and that's true. And that really goes to her response. Her response was like, yeah, it happened. Oh, well, it won't happen again. That was her response.
How I feel about Tiffany Haddish is this. Tiffany Haddish, I think, is funny, not stand-up comedian funny. I don't think that I seen Tiffany Haddish's special, and it was nothing in that special that made me be like, and I laugh at
anything, right?
A dog could do a trick, and I'm like, did you see that dog? I didn't laugh at anything that Tiffany Haddish said. I think Tiffany Haddish should stick to what her gifts are, which is making movies. She's
Comedic
good.
actress.
She's a comedic actress. She's a good for TV. You know, she was on The Last OG with what's my man's name? Brother
Tracy
man?
Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
Yes.
And then she, does plenty of movies. And those are great because she was funny as hell in Girls Trip. But as a stand-up comedian where you can get up in front of a crowd and through jokes for 30 minutes or an hour, she don't got that. And everybody don't have that, and it's okay. And she ain't got that. She don't have that.
And that was kind of the point I wanted to make, because one, when Cat Williams did that interview at the radio station and he was saying, you tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke, I'll wait. To me, I listened to the entire interview. To me, he was not putting her down
At all.
What he was saying is, this is what being a comedian is. This is what she is. Yes, she was funny in Girls Trip. Do you think she wrote Girls Trip? No,
Right.
she didn't. And he was just saying it's a different thing as a stand-up comedian, what you do. So, and I don't think he was wrong. I didn't think he was wrong then. And I certainly think that what happened this time really brought out what he said to be true. Now, it clearly she doesn't write her own material because she forgot the routine.
And she was reading off of an iPad.
And she, right.
Like you was reading the jokes off the iPad and then you still forgot? It was sitting in front of you, sis.
Like his eyes on a sparrow at the funeral. But that's another story for another time. So, you know what I mean? She does it, and it doesn't take away from who she is.
At all.
But she said it happened, it won't happen again. Now, does that mean she's not going to do any more stand up? I don't know. Maybe
I hope
she's
not.
better as a host. You don't need just be the hostess. Or
be Steve Harvey. You see where he's at now. Steve Harvey is not a funny comedian. A stand-up comedian, Steve Harvey is not funny. You look at old Def Comedy Jam, Steve Harvey was not funny to me. Let me just say that. This is to me. He ain't. But as a host, as a radio personality on Family Feud, he's very funny because that's his lane. That's his niche. The host. And Tiffany Haddish, that could be you, boo. You could have a nationally syndicated talk show. But no, you want to get up there and you want to prove people wrong, and then it backfired on you. And what irked me was with social media. Oh, now we coming down on a black woman. No, we're not coming down on a black woman. We're critiquing a black woman. She wasn't funny. And I think I got a problem with the way that society is now. You can't say nothing. Like, you can't tell somebody they can't take constructive criticism.
Right.
You wasn't
if
funny.
You're a comedian and I don't think you're funny, well, I don't think you're funny. I'm entitled to that.
And I paid to come see you, sis. And you was hosting. I mean, this was your show. It wasn't like you was an act on the show. You were who I paid for on the show.
Right.
So now I done spent my New Year's Eve money. I done got my best sparkly outfit. My man done got his nice hat. And we sitting in the damn audience and you hit us with the, you know what I mean? I don't even know. I forgot. What?
And then she start drinking. What she have, Ciroc?
Yeah, she was like, well, I might as well drink with y'all. They about to play some music. And that was another thing. She could have got out there and just been who she was in Girls Trip. The loud, funny girl. You could have came out there and did that. You wanted to do so you ever come to a bar and two men are sitting on a stool and that's not your lanes. That's not you.
Right. And I'm just saying, even for her, and this is just me, even for her, I was watching a show a couple days ago and it talked about, what happened to the Wayans brothers. No, like how you don't, because they're a very talented family.
And they're doing a bunch of stuff. That's what I'm saying. What happened to them? Keenan Ivory Wayans still produces movies. Marlon Wayans and all of them, they still make movies all the time. Damon Wayans just had another TV show. He said that he was tired of doing that. It was all that bullcrap on Lethal Weapon when he was doing it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets money from My Wife and Kids. He talked
Kids,
about
right.
that in an interview. He said, I
Right.
don't really got to work. I then came back, did this show, but it's over. I don't really have to do it. And so the Wayans brothers,
They were saying
what happened to
they
them?
were
Like,
saying
it's
that
unsung.
not like they were unsung, but they were saying that it's overkill. Like people, the same kind of acts they couldn't bring back in Living Color, even though they did. But people don't watch it like they thought that they would, because of the stuff is like kind of played out. But what I'm
That's
saying
because
is,
it's a microwave society.
it,
You want to be here today and gone tomorrow. But go ahead.
well, I mean, it's they weren't here today. They have a good time span over, on
That's
TV.
what I'm
You
saying.
know,
That's my point. They weren't here today and going tomorrow. In the age of comedians on Instagram, where you got 30 seconds to tell me a joke, and it's funny. You know what I'm saying? But can you translate that into standing in front of a stage or making a movie or whatever the case is, like the Wayans could? But go ahead. You said they were saying what happened to them.
they were saying that it's overkill. Like a lot of the things that they were doing were exaggerated, like the Living Color and then the Scary Movie series and things like that. And that's we were talking about Tiffany Haddish, and now I want her to get out of this one way thing,
Yeah.
so that she doesn't get caught up in this one role and this one thing. So
But
if
she
she's
is
going to be a
typecast for
comedian,
sure.
right. So if she's going to be a comedian, work on her craft as a stand up and do movies, but don't lock yourself in, be more versatile, because aesthetically she's good. She ain't hard to look at, nothing, she can do other things. And I just don't want her to be, typecast like that forever, because that's what happens.
And that's what's definitely happening to her. And also, I don't want her to feel like she has to prove a point, because I really think that she's doing stand up to prove a point. Like, I started out in stand up and then I transitioned. So my walk was long. It wasn't what y'all think. It wasn't like I became because that's how people try to pitch her,
just
like she's
because
an
they never
overnight
heard
success.
her.
Right. Because she came up in the comedy clubs and all this, that, and the third. But in the times where you was coming up in the comedy clubs, you probably was funny for that time. You know what I'm saying? And now you just ain't.
Or for that club.
Yeah, just learn your gifts. That's at the end of the day, that's what I want to say about it. Learn your gifts. Stand up, it's not your gift. But movies, it's all you. What other shit is going on? You got any other shit on your mind?
I do have other shit on my mind. It's funny that we were talking about Tiffany Haddish and what people think of her, because I wanted to talk today about adult peer pressure.
It's real.
It is a thing. It is real. I'm glad we're talking about it early, because it's the new year. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions. I personally don't, but people do make New Year's resolutions. And we talked about how procrastination was something that keeps you from keeping your New Year's resolutions, but also adult peer pressure. It is becoming more and more prevalent. And I just had to read somebody, myself.
Oh, what happened?
Because, it's okay. Like, we disagree all the time, you and I.
Right.
We hardly, people, and we talk all the time. And it's funny because we hardly agree on anything. But that's what it's okay. This is how you feel. This is how I feel. I hear you. You hear me. We agree to disagree.
Right.
But what you won't do is tell me that what I feel is wrong and I should be, think the same way you think and do it the way you should do, because you're not going to do that.
Right.
You're not going to do that. Now, I'm going to be nice for as long as I can be nice. But don't make me not be nice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it can happen. And I'll be like, put some money on my books, because this is about to go down.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, peer pressure is a real thing. And I mean, pick a topic: dating, relationships, shopping, money, smoking, drinking, what to do at work. It's like somebody always has an
something to
opinion.
say. Hmm.
Yes.
They always have something to say. And it's not even that they have something to say. It's like you said, they want to pressure you to do what they would do or think like they would think, and that's where the peer pressure comes in at. Because it's like I want to bring you over to my side of
Hmm.
thinking.
Yeah,
It's always like your way is wrong, my way is right. And I'm going to tell you more about my way because it's the right way. So come over here and think this way.
and keep telling you like until like drink the Kool-Aid, eat the
Uh-huh.
cake, anime. Like,
Right.
no, what is wrong with you? However, I'm learning that a lot of people don't have the ability to say no. They do change their minds,
Mhm.
which helps these adult peer pressurers
Mhm.
continue. Because once they get one person, they think like, oh, I can get them to change their mind. You know what I mean? And yeah, it just people don't know how to cope, and they don't know what they really feel. They can't stand firm in what they really believe or have a foundation for why they believe it. And that's usually how people get coaxed into doing things. But
Mhm.
also the influencers.
Well, the
Your
number one
favorite.
influencers
I know.
now is social media.
I,
100%. Let me tell you something. Social media is the root of every damn thing. It's like it's a gift and a curse. It truly is. And when we talk about adult peer pressure, social media is number one on that list. Instagram is number
mhm,
one on that list. You have a bunch of people living a life that they don't live,
exactly.
but they're living it on social media. So now you think you looking at Instagram and all you seeing is cars, trips, money, clothes,
Mm,
bad bitches, real ninjas,
mhm,
And so you feel like, damn, I gotta be like that. And they don't even know that they're the influencers. I mean,
right.
I think that they do know, but when you
Mhm,
out there and you just like posting up stuff, you just living a life that you're not living, but like I said, you living it for social media. I don't think that you go into it with I'm a peer pressure somebody to want to live beyond their means, to buy a Maserati,
mhm,
to go on a yacht that they can't afford, whatever
right.
the case
Well,
is.
somebody didn't peer pressure them because they did they
Exactly.
seen it from somebody else, right?
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that I don't think that they go with it like that, but it turns into adult peer pressure because it's like
Mhm,
you're not better than me. You can't live this life. Now
mhm.
you going out, you maxing out credit cards, trying to afford stuff that you can't afford to impress people that you don't even know.
And that's a good point because it's funny that you mentioned Instagram because Facebook is usually like people that you know. So if you just got your income tax and you put on your newest outfit and you spreading your money in the car while you on your way to the check cashing place to buy money orders, the people on Facebook were like, look at them fronting.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, a lot of those people don't even know. They
Right. I
start
don't even know
following
you.
people because they like your pictures and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So they don't even know you. And then they're just like, oh, you look like you got it going on. This picture is nice, and I'm going to follow you and I'm going to like you.
Right.
It's not even. They didn't took the social out
Yes.
of social media because people don't even know each other anymore,
It's just
and
like
they don't talk.
right. It's like on Twitter. You follow people on Twitter based off well, whatever you're on Twitter for. Some people is on Twitter to pass the day by, they want jokes. Now Twitter, that's what Twitter used to be. Now Twitter has turned into a social activism. Everybody's mad about something, we
Mhm.
see everything. Even with that is peer pressure. I might not really feel like Tiffany Haddish is not funny. You understand what I'm saying? I might feel like the bitch is funny as hell.
Right.
But social media then told me, no, she ain't
Exactly.
funny because it's 70,000 posts with no, she's not funny. So now those people have influenced me, have become, it's peer pressure. Now I want to be liked. I got people that I follow on Twitter. People follow me. I want to be liked. I want to be in the know. So now I'm following them. And I'm like, yeah, she ain't funny. When in reality, I think the bitch is hilarious. So social media 100% feeds into the adult peer pressure.
Yes, that is the biggest influencer. Another influencer of peer pressure is faith. Is faith. And there's always some people who believe, and you could be two people of the same faith and believe differently
Different things. Yep.
about a situation, away. And then somebody is always trying to pressure you and use faith, as the reasons to get you to do or what they want you to do. So, and then you have morals. Other
Mm-hmm.
people have, lived by a certain moral clause, or, thinking that their way is right. So there's a lot of influences on, peer pressure, and sometimes people really don't recognize it as pressure. And sometimes people be like, oh, if you like a person, and this is kind of what I see. If you like the person, you be like, oh, I know you like me. I know you care and everything, but no, thank you. Or, I know you like me. I know you care. I'll look into it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't like the person,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, mind your goddamn business, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Whatever. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
to hear anything that they have to say because you don't really like the person anyway. And I don't know what it is, but people who good and damn well, I don't even rock with you like that. Why are you
Mm-hmm.
even offering your opinion?
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of that going on lately too.
Well, that's because in the age that we live in, I'm telling you, it goes back to social media. But no, in the age that we live in, that's
Yes,
what
but
that's what
even outside,
listen.
like I'm talking about at work. Like you at work, I don't even what. I'm just looking. Are you crazy? Get out my office.
Mm,
Like, don't pass this threshold. Knock and ask for permission. I don't even care if the door's open. And what are you trying to say to me? Get out.
right.
You trying to get me 30 to life and get me
Well,
fired.
something obviously happened that we're not talking about.
I'm
But if you
just,
want to talk about it off the air, I mean, we can. But
I'm just saying,
it was very aggressive.
when a person that if you don't rock with a person,
Mhm.
don't be trying to tell them, what to do.
Trying to pressure them into doing
Yes, into
something.
doing something. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay. So when we come and we talk about adult peer pressure, how do we combat it?
Well, the first thing, and I think that the most important thing, and this is my attack against peer pressure, is that you have to know yourself.
100%.
You have to know yourself. Now, I know that I'm a nice person. I know that I don't like to say no. I know, there are certain things, and I know that people take advantage. I know these things. I do. But I also know me. And so when something is very important to me, if I have a stance on something, nothing anybody can say is going to sway me because I know me.
Mm-hmm.
I know me. I know you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to know why I feel this way. You don't have to know my situation, my circumstance, my history, my experience. You don't have to know any of that. But I know me. And I know the people that I associate with. So if you are the kind of person that, just say I want to do some dirt, I'm not calling my church friends
Right.
to do the dirt. You know what I mean? But I call some other people and be like, guess what?
Yeah. And we gonna ride out.
So when you know yourself, you have a wide variety of associates.
Mhm.
You know if you want to discuss something and you want people to feed into your school of thought on that thing, then call the people who are going to feed into your school of thought on the thing.
Mhm.
Not the person, unless you want your mind changed, unless you know what you're going to do is wrong and you need somebody to talk you down.
Right. Well, I think knowing yourself is 100% the how you combat it. 100%. I have a friend who he loves to play devil's advocate.
Mm,
I mean,
that irks me.
I never seen somebody that loves to play devil advocate as much as him. So much so that I feel like I'm not going to be your friend no more because
Right.
you're getting on
That's
my nerves
irking.
now. You're getting
Exactly.
on my nerves. But every single time that he plays devil's advocate, but it's something that I feel strongly about, I'm always just like, you going to sit in here and you're going to tell me this bullshit. And you know what my answer is going to be. It's going to be what I already said. I agree. Know yourself. Surround yourself with positive people that's
Mhm.
going to bring you positive peer pressure.
I agree. I agree. And also, if there's something that you like, and I'm just going to say, for instance, all right, I'm like, you know what? I want to go on a hike.
Mm.
Exactly. Won't be calling you. So, but
I
you know
work
what I
out,
mean?
but
Let's just
okay.
say I want to go on a hike.
Mhm.
I think it's important that if you know that the people that you rock with the most are not into that, seek other people.
Exactly.
Like meetup.
Yep.
You go to a meetup group, find the hikers, you go in there and get that hike. So when you want to do, something else, you seek the positive peer pressure that you need. It's
Mm.
not hard. It really isn't hard. But you have to know yourself and be true to yourself. And in knowing yourself, it's also important to be assertive. People always think that well, not always, people think that you're arrogant or aggressive, especially if you're black. You're rude, but just because you're being assertive. But you have to be assertive. You have to take a stand for you. And I'm a kind of person, I don't argue. I'm not going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You can say whatever you want to say till the cows come home. I might listen to you, I might not, but I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to banter with anybody because I don't like it.
Mhm.
You think what you think, and this is what I'm saying. That's I'm living my life, paying my mortgage, taking care of my kid. Like I don't have time for this.
Mhm.
So in being assertive, you do not have to offer anyone an excuse. I'm doing it because I want to, and that's it. I'm not doing it because I don't want to, and that's it. And that is what being assertive is. You don't have to offer anyone an excuse or a reason for anything.
Well, excuses they say are the tools of the weak and
Yeah,
incompetent. But
exactly.
and you don't have listen. If you go to a party and everybody's sniffing coke and you don't want to sniff coke, say no. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No, I don't want to sniff it, and you don't have to say, "Well, I don't want to sniff it because they might drug test me at work." No, you could
Exactly.
just say, "No, coke ain't
Exactly.
my thing. Do you?"
Exactly.
But I'm gonna go on ahead
Exactly.
and sit over here and have a
Exactly.
cocktail. I'm not sniffing coke.
And you'd be surprised at how many adults
Yes, we
start
sniff coke.
smoking and using drugs at a later age
Yep.
from
All
peer
because
pressure.
of peer pressure. You see
Yes.
somebody having fun, they like, girl, I'm telling you, you can have the best blah 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 of your life if you
Hmm.
do this, that, and the third. But they don't tell you that first high is the best blah 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 of your life, and then you're chasing that every single time
Everything. Right.
after that.
Right.
They don't tell you that.
Right.
So learn how to be assertive. Don't offer excuses. And the main thing is practice saying what, Bibby? Practice saying what?
No.
No. Now we
Uh,
both got a problem with this. Now that has nothing to do with peer pressure. We just both have a problem with saying no to certain things more than anything our family,
mhm.
when it comes down to taking care of people. But we know how to say no to peer pressure. Like I said, if we go to a party, we both know how to say no to the Coke. But we might not
Right.
say no to if our family member need us to bring them some pamper. And we need to say no to all of it. But
I
when it
need
comes down to adult peer pressure, learn and practice how to say no.
no.
Hmm.
I am. And you have to say it in an assertive way.
Hmm.
You do. You have to say a
Very matter
strong
of
no
fact.
because some of my no's be weak.
Some of
You
your
know.
notes be like, nah, but if you
Mm,
can't find nobody else, then call me.
right, right. But I
So
just
in
want to say
reality, like
no.
I'm not looking for
Yeah.
nobody else because I know I got you. Because you didn't really say no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
that's how that goes. So you have to know yourself. You have to be assertive. And this is something that I'm learning to do. You have to validate yourself. You have to distance yourself from the naysayers because negative energy is negative energy. It doesn't matter who it comes from, and
Mhm.
it messes up your day. So, in validating myself, I said, I am going to start celebrating my victories. I'm
Good
going to
part.
start celebrating my victories, and I'm going to stop like some of the little. All right, so this is something we talk about a lot, like dating.
Okay.
So you tell me all the time, oh, this one loves you. You could have a great life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Good.
yeah, I don't like him.
Right.
I don't like him. But it don't stop you. Oh, no.
You know why? Because I just be seeing your happiness staring you right in the face. However, I gotta learn that if you say no, then it's a no.
And it is. And I have to learn that I have given people a chance that I'm like, no. And everybody's like, oh, you never know. Give him a chance. Give him. Meh, 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 meh. That's why I said, last year we were talking about saying yes to all dates. Yeah, that only worked out for like a week. I can't do that. I'm not saying yes to all dates. I'm only saying yes to dates that I actually would want to go on.
Don't let me peer pressure you.
Exactly. That's saying yes to all dates. It wasn't working out for me. When you validate yourself, you distance yourself from the naysayer, and you think about your goal. Because whatever you do, there's a purpose for it. Am I going to stay and all right, we could even work is a very good example. You go to work. Some people stay a little extra time to get some things done, and then you get the ones that say, girl, they ain't paying you for all that.
That's me.
You
now that I'm going to work on time, I'm definitely leaving on time. You kidding me? Getting that extra hour out of me that I'm supposed to be there?
The extra hour that you're supposed to be there. Okay. I'm just saying. But, some people think, but if you think about your goal, my thing is this, whatever, and everybody knows how I feel about my job. If you don't listen to some prior podcasts, everybody knows how I feel about my job. But my thing is that my goal is to be in another place. So regardless of where I am, I still have to work with the same integrity that I have.
Right.
And regardless of the circumstances at my job, I can't let that change who I am as an employee. Because if I work for anybody, they're going to get my best, or I can't work there. You know what I mean? So if I didn't decide to leave, then you're going to get my best. It's as simple as that. So I think about my goal and I celebrate my victories.
You got to.
You have to. You have to celebrate your victories. It's okay, because a lot of times when you succumb to the peer pressure, then when the stuff doesn't work out, the next thing you know is like, I knew it. I should have. I shouldn't have. I would have. I could have. It doesn't work out the way you want. Anyway, you know what I mean? So if you keep your goal in mind and you celebrate your victories, that builds your confidence. It helps you be assertive and learn yourself.
And say no. And surround yourself with positive people, positive people that's going to pressure you into the right things. And so, you'll be on the right track. But more importantly, to finish this all up, the thing that we want you to know is learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
You have to learn from the mistakes that you make. Even if you fell victim to the adult peer pressure and then you are out of that, because like you said, it was something that you didn't want to ultimately do. And now you're sitting back and you're thinking about it. While you're getting out of that, learn from your mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Just learn from the mistakes that you think that you made and move on.
Move on. That's important. Because people, they waddle in their mistakes. Instead of, I always say that the best mistakes are quickly corrected. If you know it's a mistake, apologize, correct it, do whatever, fix it fast so that you can move on. Because the more you wallow in it, the worse it gets for you. And if there's another person involved, that other person. It really is bad. And, you don't have to take, just because you took a long time or you've been in the mistake for a long time does not mean you have to take a long time to get out. When you realize you need to get out immediately. And I tell people this all the time. And they say, oh my gosh, I don't wallow in mistakes. I'm a kind of person, not only do I learn from my own mistakes, but I learn from other people's mistakes. I'm like, oh, that didn't work out too well for them. I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to live long enough to make all the mistakes myself. If I leave y'all with anything, don't be a culprit. Don't be out here trying to pressure people into doing something that you want them to do. Get your life, and sometimes we inadvertently do it. If somebody asks your opinion, by all means, give it to them. But don't try to pressure, even if it's good for them.
Yeah.
I'm a nurse, and I tell people all the time things that could benefit them and their health. And they don't always listen. So sometimes it takes the condition getting worse, for them to have to come back. And, I don't say, well, if you woulda,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No, we just start from where you are. But I don't be a culprit. And I can't do it because I can't do it my job because of who I am on my job. But in
Mm-hmm.
other areas, I try to sway, but I've even stopped that with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can offer you an opinion if you ask, and I can offer you some advice, but I will not pressure you into doing anything you don't want to do ever because it's not going to work.
I agree. And everybody has their own walk that they have to experience. I don't pressure people into doing stuff just because, and we'll have a whole topic on addiction, but from seeing someone that I love go through addiction, I know that people have to hit their bottom, right?
Hmm.
Whatever it is. So when it comes down to pressuring people to do something, I don't do it because I feel I apply that to everything in life. You got to hit your bottom. You got to do your thing. It got to
Hmm.
be on you and until
Hmm.
you realize. And so I don't pressure anybody. And I don't let anybody pressure me. I know myself inside and out. And I'm learning more and more about myself every day. I'm
Mm.
celebrating the small victories that I have every day. And that was not always the case. And it didn't have anything to do with peer pressure. It just was, I just wasn't celebrating what I had going on. But now I am. So don't fall victim to the adult peer pressure.
Do not. So date who you want to date. Be in the relationship the way you want to. Chicks listening to their girlfriends, dudes listening to their guy friends and their chick on the side and all this other kind of stuff. Be in the relationship that you want to be in. Buy what you want to buy. If
Live
you
your life the way you want to live your
exactly,
life. I
if
mean,
you
at the end of the
mismanage
day,
your money and that's what you like to do, okay.
yeah.
Okay, because I know somebody who mismanages their money like crazy, but they have crazy faith. And they be like, oh, well, I said, but what if you need something? They be like, gotta supply it. And you know what? He's supplying because they
They
got
ain't hungry.
it.
Right.
Exactly. They got a place
They
to live, they got a car, they got a job, and they got all the little extra stuff they want. So, whatever it is, stay in your ground, know yourself. Get to know yourself in 2019. That's nice.
I agree. On
Mm, mm.
all aspects of your life, get to know who you are. Well, for 2019, I thought that, it would be fitting if we talked about our personal journals before we got out of here. Do
Okay.
you have a personal journal starting off the new year?
I do. And my personal journal is getting to know myself.
Mhm.
So no, it really is. I have been in prayer about wanting the Lord to show me who I really am. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna tell you, some things that He's showing me is not pretty. It really isn't. And I do love me, but
Mhm.
there are some things that need to be corrected. And I want to try to correct those things. Can't show me all at once because I think it'd be too much. But the things that I am more aware of, I am really trying to correct those things. And one of those things is leadership. Yes, I want to be I have a big personality and I'm a goal oriented type person. So things that stay the same, it gets like mundane to me.
That's
And
Sagittarius.
I like the same.
Mhm.
It's just so now that I'm leading a team, I need to be the same for them
Mhm.
sometimes. More.
Mhm.
Not sometimes, more. I need to be consistent with them. So I see that some things change when the mission changes. Like if this is the goal this week, I work toward this goal like that. But if the goal, we accomplish that and the goal changes, I can change. And I'm learning that if you're going to lead people, people need a leader that's consistent. And so that's something that I'm working on this year.
Good for you. I like to see it too.
It's not going to be the kind of consistent that you want to see, Maya. I don't know. I don't know what you want. What do you want?
Well, I didn't say it had to do with anything that I was
Oh,
trying to say.
no,
I was just trying to praise you, like, oh, well, good for you that you want to be a leader.
because
But
you
here you
always be
are.
calling me flighty.
Well, you are flighty as hell.
I'm not
You
flighty.
consistent in being there for people, but you got some flighty ass ways. But we ain't gonna get into it because we don't have enough time. That's a whole nother show.
I'm not
For my
flighty.
personal journal this week, I want to, I don't know until I start talking about it. But since we talked about celebrating small victories, in the show, that's what I want to focus on for our personal journal starting out in 2019, because I definitely gave myself a high five for being at work on time. It was a major thing because
It
I'm
was.
telling you, for years I've been late. It ain't just happened in a couple months and then it was just like, oh, you're running late. No, for years I've just been late. And it's like, for what? Why are you late?
But
At
an
the end of the
hour,
day,
an hour and a
first of
half
all,
late,
stop telling my
Maya.
business.
I'm just
Second of all,
saying.
at the end of the day, it boils down to this. I'm late because I can be.
Mhm.
Because if I could not be, I wouldn't be. And that's just what it all boils down to. But I want to celebrate my small victories. So I was at work on time all this week. Tomorrow is a new day. I'm going to be at work on time tomorrow. I'm claiming it now. And my 2019 is starting off right. So personally, I am going to celebrate all of these small little things that I am doing. And that's my personal journey for this week. Celebrate good times. Come on. I don't even know if I started singing that. But we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. We hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. It is our first episode back for 2019, and we can't wait to bring you more great content. Remember that you can always follow us on social media. Bibbi said it in the beginning. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Follow me on my personal Twitter. It's my13. It's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibbi Amina. That's Bibbiamina.
Remember that you can always email the show anything that you have to say. Do you feel like you're being peer pressured as an adult? Let us know. Let us know if you have anything that you want us to talk about in 2019, and we will surely do our best to bring the topic to life. We can be found at we did that shit at gmail.com. It's one word. We did that shit at gmail.com. We will be here same time next week.
Remember, be great this week. Do that shit.
I love you.
I love you, Maya.
I love you too. Come on, get with the program. What are you doing? You're like pausing. You're supposed to say, I love you, Maya.
I know. Why can't you said you love me first?
Well, no, it's not the way it goes. I
No,
need
you were saying
structure.
I love you.
All right, let me stop the recording.